Hello, my name is Nick Lapham. I'm one of the instructors at Bristol Ground School, and welcome to this introductory video which aims to give you a glimpse into what you can anticipate when writing EASA exams at BGS. Before I begin, I want to clarify what my intentions are with this video. So this is not an official exam briefing, but rather a basic orientation intended to help those of our students who are writing exams at BGS for the first time. This video will shed light on what you can expect on the day of your exam and will include a brief tutorial of the software that you'll be using. This way it will hopefully alleviate some of the stress and uncertainty that comes with working in an unfamiliar environment. As I've already said, this is not a formal briefing, therefore please ensure that you take some time to familiarize yourself with exam-related information that you'll find both on the BGS website as well as the OSTRA Control website. Depending on the specific exam that you are taking, you may be allowed to bring the following approved items. So you can bring with you a clear plastic ruler, a scientific, non-programmable, non-alphanumeric calculator without specific aviation functions. You can bring an approved flight computer. This must be a manual slide computer, not electronic. And a specific note on this, often these flight computers come with a protective sleeve with a little booklet that shows you how to use the device. Please ensure that this booklet is removed before your exam. You can bring the Jeppesen General Student Pilot Route Manual. You can bring a protractor, plotter, compass and dividers, and writing equipment that you may need, pens and pencils, that sort of thing. And a non-digital translation dictionary if you should need it. Next, the CAP documents are permitted in the following subject areas: mass and balance, performance for both aeroplanes and helicopters, flight planning and monitoring, and general navigation. Please ensure that you do not bring these documents into exams for which they are not approved. It is also important that these documents are not marked. When you're using them in practice, by all means draw all over them in pencil. However, these markings must be removed in time for your exam. Both your Jeppesen and the CAPs will be inspected before the exam. There are a number of items that are not permitted into the exam room, most of which should be fairly self-evident. Please do not bring an opaque pencil case. If you do bring one, it should be made out of clear plastic. You cannot bring a mobile phone. Your watch must be removed before the exam, as a lot of modern watches connect wirelessly to electronic devices. You're unlikely to need your watch, as a timer will be present on the device that you write your exam on. And of course, please do not bring any recording or communication devices, and no digital flight computers. Moving on to what you should expect on the day of your exam, please plan to arrive a minimum of 30 minutes before your exam. You will likely be admitted into the exam room up to 20 minutes before the starting time, so you can settle at your desk and receive instructions for the exam. This way you'll begin writing at the official start time. On arrival, you'll see a visitor's record book on the front desk at the reception. Please fill that in, and next to that will be a fire safety notice. Please familiarize yourself with the various fire escapes and muster point. And lastly, please ensure that you bring an identity document with you, such as a passport or driving license, which will be checked before you are admitted to the exam room. This is a picture of our main working area. As you can see, it's a great place to meet up with other students. Networking is one of the most important things that you must do within the aviation world. But it's also really helpful to study with other students, share last-minute ideas, memory aids. Perhaps they have already written an exam that you are hoping to take, so you might be able to get some useful information from them. And in the far corner of the room you can see the kitchen area. Please help yourself to tea and coffee. This section is a walkthrough of the exam system. Your examination will be written on an iPad. So this is the login page that should come up immediately as you turn the iPad on. Please log into the portal with the supplied credentials, which will be on a piece of paper in front of you. Once you've logged in, you'll be taken to this page. please check that the information that appears is correct. If there's any blank spaces, please fill them in, and you will have to repeat this process for every exam that you write. Please make sure that you know these details by head. It's worth mentioning that not everyone can recite their own phone number. Once you're done with this, please press Save and Continue. So this is the home screen. It contains all of the exams that you plan to write for the week. Once you reach this screen, please wait for permission from the invigilator before pressing any of the green buttons. And of course, once you have permission, please ensure that you press the correct green button that corresponds with the exam that you're planning to write. Next, you'll be taken to a page with various exam rules. Your exam wouldn't have started yet, so please make sure that you read and understand the examination policy before continuing. When you press Start at the bottom, this means that you agree to the terms of this policy and the exam timer will begin. Right, once your exam is up and running, this is what the main view looks like. I'm going to highlight a few individual elements. So at the top is a timer that tells you how long you have left. This is the main body of the question, and just below that we have the available answers. Moving further down, you can see that this question features two attachments, which must be opened by pressing these buttons. Sometimes these attachments are printed out, in which case they should be among the paperwork attached to your login credentials. Moving back to the top, this button allows you to pin questions, and this allows you to reference them later. This feature will work hand in hand with the filter button on the far right, and the filter button allows you to cycle through the questions to display those that you have pinned. This button with a speech bubble allows you to make comments on the question. What that does is it flags questions that you want to appeal. So if you have a question that you feel was unfairly presented or is perhaps outside of the scope of the learning objectives, press the plus icon and write the comment about your appeal. And an important note on this, these comments have to be submitted during the exam. Any thoughts about problematic questions that you happen to think of after the exam is completed will not be considered by Ostro Control. This bar at the bottom displays your progress through the exam. Before finishing, please check this to make sure that you have answered all of the questions. And to bring your exam to an end, please press the log out button on the top right. Once you've completed your exam, you'll see a page that looks like this that shows your results. You require 75% in order to pass the exam. Your mark is given as a decimal, which is not rounded up or down. And unfortunately for this student, flight planning didn't appear to go so well, and some additional studying is required. To help you to assess your weaknesses, you'll be presented with references of the learning objectives that you did not manage to satisfy. You can change the evaluation level here. What this will do is it will change the depth of information that you get as feedback. Unfortunately, this will not allow you to review any exam questions. And once you've finished going through this evaluation, please leave the iPad on this screen when you've finished your exam. The invigilator will come around and make a physical note of your mark. The results will be uploaded directly from the device, but we capture your mark here as a backup to cross-reference if there happen to be any problems with the uploading process. And that brings me to the end of this basic exam tutorial. All that remains for me to say is, on behalf of myself and the rest of the Bristol Ground School team, we wish you the best in your coming exams.